Eleanor the Great. This is a new, very interesting movie in theaters right now. This is kind of a, you know, indie, independent movie that I really didn't know a lot about till some older customers at work were telling me about it, and I decided to go check this out. Because I got sent home an hour early, and it ended up right as the time I was supposed to be off, so it started right as I left early and ended at the right time I left. So I'm like, was originally supposed to leave. So I just went in the theater, sat down. This movie is. I was not prepared for what this movie was. This movie is very powerful. Essentially, you have this older woman who's in her like 70s, 80s, I can't remember, but I think it was 70s, like late 70s. She's, of course, in the age of her end of her years, and she moves far away to New York to kind of get a fresh start on life and really think about where her life is going. And then so you get this 19-year-old that she befriends and kind of gives her a new kind of voice on life, and they kind of give each other things back and forth. These two people are, connect really well, and you see why they connect really well. And it is such a beautiful friendship to watch on screen. The performances here are fucking amazing, especially from our lead actress. She is truly one of a kind. If this is an Oscar-worthy performance, it probably will not happen. I can't imagine the Academy wanting to award an older age an actress like this, because they just don't seem to do it. And I think that's what speaks to a very sad reality. We do not get movies starring older women talking about aging and things that they're dealing with. Let alone, we get stories about that with men, but at least with men, it's more of a traditional masculine story of like, you can't keep me down. Clint Eastwood type movies that we get now. Talking about him aging and still, or the Expendables type movies where you get action heroes who are aging, but they're still able to kick some ass, right? But women's stories, you don't get a lot of that. And so when you watch a movie like this, it's very, very powerful, very, very meaningful. And I think with movies like this and Thelma, they're just able to speak to something really, really powerful in the film community that I think needs to be seen more. The stories about older women and their experiences, because we cannot underestimate our old people. I will tell you something very personal about me. My grandparents live with my grandfather's mother, my great grandma, and she was very, ridden with dementia and other things. She would get scared when people leave the house. Well, my grandparents live with her, and they like to go out on Friday nights, go out to dinner, go out to a movie, and they could not leave her alone. They didn't want to put her in a home because it's a hard decision to make when you care about someone and their family. And so every Friday night after school or whatever I had going on that week, I'd head over to my grandparents, sit, we'd watch a movie, and we'd joke and we'd watch old movies. And I got to know so much more about my family's life and amazing things about my great grandma that she lived through during the Great Depression. And it was a really beautiful friendship, and it broke my heart when she passed away a few years back. But that's why we need stories like this to make us realize there are older people in all of our lives that we don't take the time to understand and talk to. Because I think in society it really is to go, okay, boomer, and I definitely deal with a lot of that right now, especially, if you saw my recent video where I came out of strength, I get a lot of boomer family members that are not being fun to deal with. But I'm just saying that you deal with these things in life, and you tend to brush off older people, but there's also a lot of wisdom, a lot of important things to get from them. And so, family really is a mixed bag. But my point in saying is this movie kind of made me think of that, and I think that's something I would like to see more in movies. And shout out to my great grandmama in the comments, RIP.